Okay. Not a whole lot going on there. We just need debuffs on the opponent. I'll bring Toad because we need to get through this quickly. Cosmic attackers and armor breaks. We can do that. Welcome. How's it going, Duck? Actually, really nice to have Null here now. That feels good. That looks pretty darn good for this. I was thinking about bringing Surfer anyway, though. Let's go ahead and do that. What Kevin said. Nothing surprising about that. Nice, man. Hey, welcome, Aiden. Well, that works. Hey, Noob, welcome. Yeah, I've been pretty happy with this rank up, Aiden. Absolutely insane sustain and damage potential for questing. And I know I don't have him fully down yet. Did I change my microphone? No. I'm guessing it's quiet for you if you're saying that. I imagine Jax must be happy with these new champ releases. I mean, the thing that y'all keep to seem... Jesus Christ. The thing y'all seem to keep not remembering, no matter how many times I tell you, is that we work way ahead of time, right? So, Spider-Punk has been planned and assigned to a particular designer since before the movie came out. The entire time, Jax has been doing his bit. He's been on the roadmap. Hey, Thanos. I didn't even mean to hit the striker there, but that's fine. Yeah, I'm sure he is happy. But I'm also saying I don't know that he actually. I don't know. Just saying it's a bit of a bit. Hey, Silver. Yeah, Invincible's really solid. Haven't fully caught up on season 2 yet because my wife and I are saving it to kind of all do it closer together. Excuse me. But it's a good story. I've read through the whole thing as well. Well, that worked. Hey, Victor. Yeah, it was a questionable decision for sure. The rest of season 2 has started coming out. I think 5 and 6 are out. 7 comes out Thursday, and then there's one more, if I remember correctly. So we're pretty much there. Yeah, I think the actors have been great, Snoops. Agreed. Hey, William, how's it going? Welcome, Joey. Hey, Normax, how's it going? Yeah, I'm all right. Got a minor residual headache. It happens from time to time with work. Just, computer screens. But I'm doing okay. Who am I committing my SIGs to? Oh, my 7-star SIGs? I don't know yet. I'm probably just gonna sit on them, not gonna lie. If it wasn't coming next month, Rex, how would that be an April Fool's? Nothing has been announced. Yeah, you should definitely not do that, Aiden. And that's not me saying he's bad. That's just not. Dang it! One too many hits. That's just not what you should be doing. I hear you have a shiny new rank 3 Killmonger who could take some Sig Stones off your hands. I could indeed. Out of who I have right now, from like a pure utility standpoint, he would be one of the best investments, easily. He's also by far the worst from a prestige standpoint. That's a bit of a tough one. Hey, Hanash Devil Dog, welcome. Then it didn't land with me, Stoops. That's fine. That is a decent question, Victor. Um, so for those watching back who, I guess, I don't know, can't read, I don't mean can't read, but like can't read the size of the text on the screen. That was a bad place to break in that sentence. Um, the question is, when discussing Danny, I said that she shouldn't get a, oh, well, her miss actually counters miscounters ability. And the question is, how is that different from unblockable immune and then Crush getting around unblockable immune? And I get the point here, right? There are coding reasons. Um, you would have to do some really weird stuff. I'm not going to say it's impossible because I literally can't imagine how I would do it if I was going to. You would have to do some weird stuff to make a miss that is basically a super miss, right? And is a step above that is like cannot be struck. But that's part of the problem, right? Like, there's a lot to unpack here. Give me a second. The shortest possible answer is that it's an arms race we're not willing to start. Because unblockable and unblockable immune have existed for a long time, and there are only a couple abilities that get around that, right? Crush is very recent. And the reason that Crush gets around it is because it's tied to another effect, right? And like you could say, well, then just give it another effect, right? Like not only does Danny get it, or not only does Danny inflict a falter, but she also like while the opponent is faltered, gets some other super effect that means she cannot be struck, right? But like again, that's an arms race that we're not willing to start. Because if you think about this with evade, there are characters with evade, there are characters that counter evade, and then you have multiple types of resistance protecting the evade, right? You have people who mess with like true abilities like true accuracy and such. You have cold snap immunity if you want to look at it that way. And you have like evade abilities that are not subject to ability accuracy reduction, right? You have all three of those. But we don't have evades that just say, nuh-uh, you can't stop this. And I realize that Labyrinth's global evade is close. Almost nothing stops it, right? But even that is A, problematic, and B, it's more of a dungeon master rule than a character ability. And so it is in a separate category. But if we go back to the evade example, then that's really kind of what I want to sit on because the resistances, the extra protection that characters have around evade are all aimed at certain effects. Like, it is completely okay to have a character whose miss abilities are not subject to ability accuracy reduction, right? It is completely okay to have a character with a with miss that also turns off the opponent's true sense, turns off their vigilance, right? But to hit Nick specifically, you have to use the nuclear option, right? You have to say, nothing can possibly turn this off. You have to go all the way. And that in particular is a lever we just were not willing to pull, especially for a character that's already doing well. And like I know John is kidding here. So I won't fully go down there, but like that is honestly a good example, right? Like this area of discussion is one of the reasons that we don't go too hard into lore driving abilities. Because if you get too wrapped up in flavor, you start talking yourself into some really silly things, right? And I think at the end of the day, you're just going to have a mutant that is built around Miss is going to run into some problems when you have multiple skill attackers that turn off Miss. Like, I think it would have been completely okay for Danny to have a line of text that said she cannot be tracked and so she's immune to tracking, right? And then you turn off Kate Bishop's heavy and any future character that has tracking. It would also work on Omega Sentinel, which is a little weird because she's a tech, but like that's the kind of this specific counter doesn't work and I'm calling it out by name. That I think is fair game. My specific stance on Danny is that countering all miss counters, which is the only way you hit Nick, is dangerous. And I do stand by that. Hey Yoshi, hope you're doing well. Welcome, Blizzard. I can understand Sunspot. You get the prestige short term, and honestly, keeping him at high charges ain't bad. Have you guys ever thought about making a champ with a higher health pool than Sassy, or is his already too high? A while ago, I would have said his was too high, but we probably have enough counters that it's okay. I'm definitely not ruling it out, right? I knew he had too many um defensive abilities to get close, but an early draft of Serpent was very close to Sasquatch. Like it was a goal of mine to use basically meat points as a defensive threat, right? And ultimately, the other things he had, including the death immunity, were just strong enough that he didn't need that. And so I abandoned that goal and tuned his health down. But it's pretty easy to conceive of another character in the future that has fewer other defensive abilities and does just use meat points as a way of staying alive. So yeah, I wouldn't say it's likely that someone dethrones Sasquatch, but it is possible. And if so, it's probably going to be some kind of science character because I think it's a little bit weird that our two hit point kings are both mystic. Sasquatch, I get. I don't think the cow needs that much health. Yeah, Kushala, Photon, Serpent, Kate Bishop, and Absorbing Man Vantage. I like Destroyer. I don't think you strictly need the dupe. Yeah, I think Destroyer is one of those champs that's like when I say they're fun, it's not dismissive. It's that I don't think that there are too many things in the game right now that I'm specifically reaching for them for because to one extent like I have Hulkling counters. But I think they're a very well-made champion with some cool abilities that already have relevance. The bleed and poison immunity is big, right? And I think they're probably going to age well, both because I think their design is robust and interesting, and because that's just what that character designers champs tend to do. You're leaving out a fair few, Blizzard. Start going through the skill class and really ask yourself who has anti-miss abilities, because I did this when I gave Kate tracking to see how broad it was. It's a lot. Yeah, exactly, Victor. And like That's why anyone who has resistances to counters, it needs to be like really clear and feel thematic. Like Penny Parker just turns off all of the true effects. Well, not true focus, but that's not important. But she turns off all of those true effects that hit auto block so that you just remember, oh, right, these just don't work here. You really don't want to get too subtle with that. And the unblockable thing, like, yes, it does have shades of arms race. And we did discuss whether maybe Crush should be blocked, but we had already called it cannot be blocked. We had already moved in that direction. And basically, as long as we use it sparingly, we think it's okay. Like, Jessica only has a chance to get it. Cassie needs 3 bars. Kate specifically has to knock you down in the corner, right? And it's very short. Kate's isn't even really an unblockable ability. Kate's Crush is more like a, hey, my wake up intercept is guaranteed ability. And that's the kind of thing that we want to keep it to. Like, we definitely want to be careful there. Any other future abilities that have a cannot be blocked rider need to be handled very much with care. Because by that whole arms race logic, we don't, like, we don't want too many cannot be blocked abilities, because then the only way to counter it is to ship somebody who can also block that and say, like, their block cannot be broken. Excuse me. And that's really dangerous. I'm glad to hear that, Blizzard. I like Serpent a lot. Yeah, I realized as I was baiting that special 2 out that exactly that was going to happen. That's okay. Yeah, I dodged at the right or the wrong time there. Totally fine. Hmm. Thanks, Anach. Layout has not been released yet, Haza, and you're never gonna hear something that hasn't been released like that here. Deathless King Groot has the same health as normal King Groot, I'm pretty darn sure. I would be okay with Devil Dino having a high health pool. That does sound reasonable. So much sustain. Curious because he's always considered a good defender just because his health pool, but the health pool makes him stand out. Yeah. Sasquatch would definitely be less dangerous with a smaller health pool. I also think Sasquatch was probably released at a time when we expected to be putting more exhaustion in science, and then we just kind of stopped. And it took like us buffing Luke for there to finally be another science character that applied exhaustion without knocking people down. Turns out that was an important key. I now realize I'm terrible at playing Black Cat. She's tricky, man. There's a lot going on there. That was some well-placed lag. Touche. Not cool, Doreen. Yeah, that was way too early on my part. Whoa! That one was less cool. I hope you're kidding, Rex. Up to you, Eddie. How much do you care about the characters coming in and the characters going out? I think that's something you have to answer for yourself. Okay. Quicksilver, mutants. Thanks so much, Colin. That's really cool to hear. I'm really glad that helped. Yeah, let's play around with Danny a bit. I haven't really done that yet. Clearly. How likely is it for another champ to get an entire redo like Iron Man? I'd say better than 50%. Is Null's armor removal coded as a nullify? It is not. Without looking at the code, I'm guessing it's probably using the same tech as Venompool's Omnom. Every time with Biohazard. Dang it. That was just a bad dex. 100% my fault. I realize what happened. I thought that the overload there was actually um, the falter, and so I didn't realize it went away. I'm gonna do a take two on that one. Yeah, like She-Hulk also has an exhaustion stig, but it's short. It's still a knockdown like Spidey's. Yeah, that's basically the problem. Excuse me. Oh, I agree, Kevin. I despise Unfazed. I don't. Yeah. If you haven't heard this spiel from me yet, anybody, I hate that Unfazed was very clearly built as an offensive mastery and ended up a defensive one. I hate it so much. Well, it seems you clearly have a thought on that, Kraken. I understand why, but like, I don't really think it's a great place to start a discussion with, hey, do you guys think yes or no question, and then following up with like something that would definitely get an objection in court. Come on, man. Slow down a little bit on leading the witness. There's a number of things to unpack there. My short answer is no, but clearly that's not enough for you. The longer answer is that, like, there's not really room to build anyone like Star-Lord anymore, right? Without just making them way too strong. Like, the reason someone like OG Thor is still relevant, and they are, if you think they're not, you're not paying attention. The reason somebody like OG Thor is still relevant is because of insane tuning. Asked and answered. Yep. Like, his armor breaks are so strong. Yes, it requires Sig 200, but there's only so much space for really, really strong tuning on specific abilities, and even then, they're not used everywhere, right? To truly be relevant these days, you need more complexity. Or sorry, you need like more going on, right? And then for that more going on to not be game breaking, it needs a certain amount of complexity. Because that's why, like, that's what keeps it in check. When you have more abilities and they don't have more things holding you back, you end up with your Hercules, your Kingpins, right? Your Kitty Prides. To continue to make new characters interesting and compelling, we have to expand the design space. And expanding the design space without it constantly being naked power creep is going to mean a certain amount of complexity. We try to hold it back, right? That is something that we are constantly challenging each other on in design reviews. That is something on our scope, right? I don't want to completely dismiss it and say that we don't care about complexity, deal with it, right? Learn to read. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that a certain amount is inevitable. And I think it's very easy to say that we just should have done better and should have avoided more complexity if you're not actually in the position of designing champions for this game. I'm also not gonna say that we've never made a mistake as far as like striking that balance. But we're working hard at it. And I think that we've held the line a lot better than certain critics like to admit. Yeah, there are more winner of woe fights for sure. Oh, I know, Kevin. I know. Keep in mind, I shipped anti-unfazed synergies for both Negative and Elsa. Does War add the 8% on top of the 300, or will it get a bigger boost? Yeah, that'll be 308%. That won't be 324% an etch. Hey, Jason. Welcome. How's it going, BT? Do I expect any kind of tweak to Absman for the gauntlet? I expect a small tweak. That much has been said to the CCP. I'm not going to say anything else. Yeah, Quicksilver's really, really good, Travis. Big agree. Hey, Easy, how's it going? Guess what? I tried to play off of OBS again instead of in the game. Sauron could use both a little bit less and a little bit more complexity on that topic. Yeah, everything about Prowler is really sweet. In my client's defense, they are silly goose. That's kind of a difficult question to answer, noob. Um, the most important factor is that there wasn't a balanced team. There was a single balanced designer, and they were responsible for the entire game, including a much more active rework cadence and Alliance War, like, and the early skeletons of Battlegrounds. Like, they were just drowning, and they couldn't give Hercules' kit the full attention it needed. And then from everything I've heard, Broccoli was very persuasive. Not much more to say there. Why are there masteries to reveal hidden champs on a quest map? Because champs used to be hidden. Yeah, defenders were hidden in war. War was a very different beast back in the day. Let me tell you a tale of a time long past, when who won a war was actually decided by who cleared the map the most. It's hard to think back to that, but there was a time. I mean, bases are basically set it and forget it, right? I know that's not what everybody wants for the feature, but that's basically what it is. Okay, that's a good one. He just sat there. Sorry, need to record this one right after. One second. Bluntly, Colin, yes. I'm gonna decline to elaborate for now because I think my regulars have heard enough of that. But yes. Yes, he is. Yeah, I don't miss the pre-diversity days. I think it's probably fair to say that diversity could use a bit of a boost now. Yeah, it is easy. It's obviously just because I've logged in more, and not because you've been leading people to do more work overall. I don't know why I did that. That's an argument, Eddie. Don't think that means he can't be tuned down. No, Domino isn't a more of a problem than Hercules. Domino is more just like a really annoying QA tool built into the game. Kabam isn't a monolith, Milan. It's not really an answerable question. Let's just break. Come on, buddy. That was massive overkill. Yeah, you're probably right, Easy. All legacies are good. Understatement of the century. Hey, cream cheese, how's it going? Yeah, I was like, no way does he have enough reach, but I had to try once. Whoa! Alright, come here, come here. Why can I not block him? Whatever. Hmm. Yeah. There's been a lot of multiple serpents in Tier 1. Yeah, absolutely easy. Alliance has gotten a lot stronger. Yeah, I saw the post. I've been talking to Vega. None of that's a surprise. He's not alone in the Alliance, or in the Alliance. It's been a tough season. Getting the Striker up with Sauron and then throwing the Sinister Striker, or sorry, getting the Degen up with Sauron and then throwing the Sinister Striker is legitimately fun. Give you that. Rank 5 Ascended MODOK? Why? That's my thought. It works, don't get me wrong, but like, there are a lot of counters these days, and I'm not really a fan. Yeah. I honestly think if we just doubled diversity BT, I don't think it would hurt anything. Because the thing to, like, the reason why people are abandoning diversity is because the tactic is harder. And one possible response to that is to try and more appropriately manage the tactic so that nobody is that much of a standout defender. But especially if the goal is for deaths to rise a little bit higher, then even if you don't have somebody in every tactic as strong as like Serpent is right now, it just may not be possible to reach that level of tuning. And at that point, I say it's probably better. You know, you can do that, but I think it's also time to increase diversity points. Nice, Jason. That one sounds fun. I don't think we need to go to the special 2 there. Have only seen a couple of serpents. Our most recent weekend war, Victor, had 4 serpents in BG1 and 3 in BG3. All ascended Sig 200. Please kill. Not quite. But I'll take it. That was fun. So close. Okay, a couple things to respond to there. Yeah, I mean, I know you're saying you don't see it as possible, BT, but like the tech would be really complicated. I think one of the biggest problems with banning defenders is that when you ban defenders in battlegrounds, like when people rank up, their onslaught or something, they know that that character may be ban bait, but they also know that that means another one of their characters is now available, right? Because they weren't banned instead. If you ban defenders in an alliance mode, it gets a lot less chill, potentially. Because let's imagine that there is one lucky person this season who has rank 3 Serpent, rank 3 Bullseye, rank 3 Killmonger, right? And now imagine that that alliance has all 3 of those defenders banned against them. Let's just assume 3 for the moment. Now that person only has 2 defenders placed, and they can't use those characters on attack, and they have all of this power concentrated into just allowing other people's defenders to shine. That's a really cruddy player experience, right? Like, that's something that a lot of people in Tier 1 would accept. I'm not going to pretend that's not true, right? A lot of the players in SSX would happily sign up to be the ban bait person and be like, yeah, my defense just is that awesome. But it's not good game design. Not in my opinion. And then to Milan's point, the thing is, though, that, like, Bullseye is very in your face with how dangerous he is, because you see people blocking and losing a ton of health all at once. It's very dramatic. But my alliance doesn't have very many deaths to Bullseye this season. It might be hard to plan around him. Some of y'all have seen my war videos with me taking mildly sketchy fights to make sure that Apocalypse is ramped so I can donate the Horsemen, but like that's a viable strategy. There are a number of different counters to Bullseye in the tactic that, especially when you throw Horsemen into the mix, completely fine. William in the chat has now soloed Bullseye bosses, what is this, 3 times in a row, William? Like, I don't want to jinx you, and I'm already knocking on wood for you. Because I'm not saying that he will never mess up, or that Bullseye doesn't have any threats. But, like, he's manageable. Serpent on certain nodes, however, is absolutely dropping bodies in tier 1. All over the place. Doesn't mean he can't be managed, because I have seen solos for every placement. But with the current setup of how the tactics work, and with the fact that Serpent is newer by 2 full months, and people just are not used to him as much, they have not really gotten the time to get those reps in. For tier 1, I think Serpent is scarier. Below that, maybe not. Yeah, Silk is fun, for sure. Varies based on the battle group. Noob. But in BG3, we've been using Professor X. Those big crits at the start are so much fun. He'll come around easy. But yeah, he is a very dangerous combination with the current tactic for sure. Like, I would talk about this in war videos if I had the relevant attackers to take a Serpent myself. But I don't, so I'll say here that the biggest thing I keep seeing people dying to, with Serpent in particular, is not feeling comfortable parrying his specials, and so just ending up dexing, building indestructible charges, and then feeling like they have to block the specials, when doing so just gives him enough power for another special. Like, it's Punisher 2099 on Kinetic Reactor is basically the problem. It's very dangerous. Didn't realize he was a 10. That's on me. Whoops. Also didn't realize I wasn't at 300 yet. Here, boy. I've even playing Arena to afford boosts. I just hope May brings a Serpent counter. Okay, I gotta be blunt, Freddy. We've already confirmed May is... Hold on, let me count forward. Skill and Mutant. Why on earth would May bring a Serpent counter? Do lower tiers not have the power gain on block, really? I thought it was just easier to control the indestructibles. I forgot about that. All right, mystics that regen. Regen, drain, burn, and steal, of course. Okay. Almost unnoticeable. Okay, that's fair. Yeah, no, it's very significant in tier 1. That's right, my Gilly is duped now. I mean, I don't use the smaller one, usually. I don't know. Maybe I should. Right, this cord. I hate powering up so much. I'll figure it out. Alright. Ooh, she can do this with the block regen now. Let's play around with that. Yeah, unfortunately, Freddy, we've confirmed out through June. I don't think we confirmed July. But June is tech and mutant. So that's not really gonna help either. No relic yet. She's very new. I do need to update that, but I'm not gonna mess around with it at the moment. It's probably coming off Gilly, not gonna lie. That's where the 6-star's sitting for the moment, but I don't think that's where it's gonna stay. Don't ask me for news, Rajat. I do not, Blizzard. I've just been in Vegas pretty much since he made it. And I've I've been involved enough there that it's never really made sense for me to put the work into starting one up of my own. Especially because as an employee, I spend a certain amount of time in the CCP Discord server as well, and so between those, it's just yeah, only so much, only so much time. Whoops. Ouch. Not great. Not great at all. Ouch. You jerk! You broke my concentration. Yeah, BG's decks are getting big for sure. The special attack stat focus bonus applied to the modified attack while launching a special. The short answer is yes, but I need to break that down to make sure that we're talking about the same thing. Um, it's applied in a different step than modified attack. If your base attack is 100 and Furies are increasing your modified attack to 200, then the 8% extra special attack damage does take into account the 200, right? It's multiplicative with that step. But special attack damage is its own multiplier, right? So, like, if you have somebody with prowess or whatever, it's additive with that and can still get diluted. That's the thing I want to clarify. And that's why it's not really worth getting the shield done with her. Whoa! I was not expecting... That's fine. I was not expecting that special too. That caught me completely off guard. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, Cyber. I don't like this design for this Korg. And it's mostly because I just want designers to stop trying to make this power gain node work. Whoops, didn't realize that one didn't get purified. Why didn't I gain power on that one? Good luck, Milan. Yeah. Once he gets going, he's pretty nuts Faust for sure. It's relatively random Faust. The standard allotment for champion dev time is 10 weeks. But obviously, because we have a monthly cadence, that turns into 3 months with some flex room. And then because of who wants to work on who and the size of the team, sometimes you get longer breaks than that. But it's usually 3 months or more. I really thought I got that parry ready. That's fine. I'm dead. I did. I did, Captain. That was terrible. Don't start something, Milan. Just don't. Also, I am legitimately glad you enjoyed the Korg BT. Like, just because I'm not enjoying a fight doesn't mean no one else can, and it's good to hear that stuff. No, my Gilly's still rank 1. Yeah, the 10% chance is just so all over the place. Wasn't something we really felt that we could update, but it goes everywhere. That's how that one goes. Yeah, I've seen a bit of that as too, PT. It's cool to see. Bro. No, I shouldn't have tried to do that. His heavy's always been one of the worst. That was stupid. So is that, but he's really tilting me. I also really despise the delay on his Purify. Like, you can just tell that the designer did intend for it to mean, like, oh, you have a chance to decide if you can hit them. But it's just so long that, like, it doesn't work for me. Should have done this a while ago. I need to see if I can get my progress transferred or whatever to. I don't know. I need to double check on that, Snoops, but I haven't played in a while. I like the game, though, yes. Dude. Nope. None yet, easy. Been trying, but nothing yet. Thursday's live stream, BT. Just as a heads up so you don't miss it. Yeah, it is intentional, Noob, because Cosmic needs it more. The Mystic Cosmic relationship historically has been more binary and more one sided than other class relationships. And so that's why you see more of those, well, some of you, but not you in particular, abilities there. Oh, nice, BT. That's really cool. It is normally on Friday, but I think because of the schedule of the guest for this one, it moved a little bit. But y'all will like her. Of course. Gets an armor up literally the frame the stagger expires. Throw it. Come here. Want to rank up Kashala, but feeling a bit gun shy because of Photon. Yeah, I wish it worked that way for me. I've been ranking him up as fast as possible, hoping that I get unlucky in that way easy. Hey, Kaitu, how's it going? Yeah, I've had it happen before, but not so much with the 7 stars, which is nice. Not gonna complain about that. Yeah, that's definitely a big thing for me, Gunnar. Like, part of the reason I make my SIGs good all the way up. Like, I know people are going to be like, wow, really trying to sell those SIG stones. But no, a big part of it is I don't want it to ever feel like something you have to second guess to max out your favorite champion if your favorite champion is one of mine, right? Like, I consider that a bit of a design failing if people are like, eh, SIG 1's fine. So I'm kind of glad that I keep hearing that about the 6 star versions of the characters I've built because that is the goal. Hey Nick, how's it going? 6 star photon allows me to wait patiently for the dew. Yeah, like, I hear that. Punisher and Punisher 2099 on this same path. They're really trying to get me to show off the block regen. Ah, I hate this map. I know it's already been I know it's already been fixed internally, but I cannot wait for it to be gone. Thanks, Nick. I appreciate that. I think Photon's the only champ I've designed that you feel you can live without having Duke. Yeah, and I get that. Like, hers was definitely the one where that was the most of a possibility. And part of that is just because of the weird, like, skill science relationship. But I'm still pretty happy with that one because the block proficiency line, both on offense and defense, and the neutralize immunity, like, I think I did my work there. It's okay if people feel they don't need it. Bro. I hate the window on his special one so much. Ooh, we got a healing. Terrified by being responsible for picking an engagement ring? I know that not all women are chill with this, Snoops, but that is exactly why I didn't do it myself. Like, not fully by myself, you know? We picked all the rings out together. I find that much safer. Yeah, fair number of women do, Snoops. But then my advice is try and innocently just look at rings together. You don't have to pick one then, go to it later, but literally just sit down with her. Manipulate your own Instagram feed until you end up on a spot, right? You can even make it about you first. Look at those, like, you know, stone fantasy rings that they're always trying to market to men these days. Talk about some of those. Ask about what she likes in a ring. How fancy, right? How big? How many? Like, how does she feel about extra stuff around the main stone, etc., etc.? You got to have those discussions ahead of time before there's pressure. All right, we made some progress today. 3 down, 3 more. Got a number of things I can do, although this does tie up that neatly. Because that puts me at 4, right? Yeah. Like, I could take up a science champ. I'm curious if any of y'all have strong reactions. Titan, excuse me. Spider Ham's rank 3, Titania's rank 2. The other 7 I could take to rank 2 pretty quickly. I would just need to buy, like, a couple catalysts, right? But I'm not really in love with any of these right now. Like, Dude Morbius is great. Ant-Man's a decent two-way. He's a good buff immune, which, I mean, I have Titania. But he has good immunities. He comes up from time to time. Gwen's fun, but, like, I kind of just want to wait for Photon. Like, if I had a, if Negs, Void, or Overseer were duped, I think I would take any of the 3 of them up. But I'm not really gunning for it without that. And yes, my Gamora is rank 3. Yeah, he's the one that I honestly am leaning towards the most, Nick. Like, I don't think I would regret having him unless I pulled a Photon. And that's purely my own bias speaking, right? We'll see, Kaitu. There's plenty of Asgardians to go around. If we ever do Volstagg, you know, I say I would love that, but instantly when I say that, I think there's another member of the team that might be more excited about it, so I don't want to say I'd for sure take that one. But we'll see. There's plenty of Asgard left. Broccoli design, Mr. Negative Noob. Very solid design. One of his best, in my opinion. Thanks, JJ. I really appreciate that. Yeah, Serpent's animations were tough to get right, but I do think that we did, ultimately. Oh god, I don't know if any of y'all saw that silly Reddit thread, but it was out of your top 12 champions, who could you most likely beat in a fist fight? And I was sitting there going, God, Kate's probably my best chance, huh? But there's no way I'm winning that. Silly question. Yeah, Nags is particular. He fits a certain kind of player. I enjoy him, but I don't think he's worth investing in the modern game without the dupe. I think that anti-degen utility goes a long way. Hey, Jay Scorpion. Welcome, but I am about to close down the stream, unfortunately. I'm just kind of chatting. Choose Maw. Okay, if it's a fist fight only, no powers, then sure, I'll take Maw. I see your point. Yeah, I appreciate y'all stopping by. It was a fun stream. But I have a couple things I need to take a look at before the day's out. And I have one more war video to get out this week before I'm caught up. So I would expect that tomorrow. Advice for the Alliance War Showcase score. Tigra does work. It's a tough fight, though. I've seen a lot of really good players die. If you're having trouble beyond that, White Tiger works great. Kushala works great. And then my personal favorite is Long Shot. Works really well. Anyway, take care, everyone. Thanks for hanging out. I do love that Ant-Man love, Nick. That's great.